Hey, it's Janae here to brighten, lighten, and ignite your day on day 27. Wow, you're doing awesome. It's week 4, power of ignition. Today's focus is prayer. I think this is one of my most favorite topics because it can ignite us like nothing that we can ever do by ourselves. So I don't want to discount this in part of your sprint process. No matter what faith belief you have, the power of prayer can do wonders. So there's a wonderful book that I've listed below, Mark Batterson has, called Praying Circles. And he actually, how was originally introduced to it is in a MOPS group, which is Mothers of Preschoolers. One of our mentor moms gave each of us a small book that it was called Praying Circles Around Your Children. And it was so beautiful because it was this idea that our children are so precious. And there's times where we need to really put emphasis and just pray around their little souls and their lives. And it was great. And so then I thought, well, what's the original Praying Circles book? And that was wonderful because it introduced this concept. So the thought is around praying, around with your number one goal. So this is really your 1, 2, 3, choose what's best for me. Number 1 is to pick your number one goal and pray circles around it. And it might be a creative way you can do that. So for me, I'm going to give you an example here. So here's a verse that I like. It says, in due season you will reap if you do not lose heart. Okay? And so this is really important for me to pray circles around, that I don't lose heart and that I remember this prayer. So this idea of praying circles is that, you're not just emphasizing, but you are truly circling it in prayer. And he talks about in the book the idea of, literally you can physically circle it in prayer. So there was a location that they wanted for their church. So they would literally walk around the location and bless it and circle it in prayer for the future use of it. So think about the ways that you can use this beautiful communication with our heavenly source and divine energy to circle your number one goal in prayer. Now, the second part is, call on what I'm calling your SWAT team. Now, this is what I consider our heavenly team that is here anytime we reach out in prayer to help us. And I can't tell you the power of the SWAT team and how it's worked in and on and through my life. So SWAT, when you think of SWAT, right? Like there's just the forces are coming in and rushing in to the rescue. So think of this as like the divine SWAT team coming in. S standing for saints, W, wisdom guides, A, angels, and T, Trinity. So let me just talk through that a little bit because this is your 2. Good for you is to figure out how can you call in your SWAT team. So let's start back with the S for saints. So we have many living saints who are living today and then saints who have passed away. And the power of a saint is really somebody who is considered holy and really lived God's way in this lifetime. And so we can often think of or pray to or ask our saints to intercede. So when I was little, I was always told that if I lost something, I could pray to Saint Anthony. And unfortunately, even though I'm older now, I still lose things. And I continue to pray to Saint Anthony, Lord, help me find Saint Anthony, whatever it is that I've lost. And this is just a small example, but so I've also taught that to my children whenever we're losing something. And oftentimes then I pray that the power of it will show up so that they can understand the power of prayer. But that's just a small thing. Or one of my favorite saints is Saint Therese of Lisieux. She's considered in the 20th century one of the most popular saints because it's of the little way. She just was a cloistered nun at age 24, passed away, and she was really here, she feels like, to do her true work up in heaven and to help all of us ordinary souls down below, because she never did any extraordinary things when she was here on earth, but continues to help bless us. And I've had some really special divine experiences that I've had because of this relationship of prayer that I have to her. So think about just who might be some saint role models in your life and how you can call them in as you're thinking about this. W are wisdom guides. So we have wisdom guides today in our life, and those who have gone before us or will come up behind us. And who are those wisdom guides? And I just have a example. I had met this woman. We were kindred spirits. We didn't know each other that well, but we both had this passion for writing. And I had a chance to help her just a small bit with her book that she got published. And then soon after that, she passed away. And I just, every time that I write, I just have this kindred spirit and I'll just pray to her and just ask her guidance on my writing. And it's just interesting. I don't think of her a lot, but usually when it comes around the writing time, she's in my heart a lot. So I think that there's a divine connection that you just can't deny. And so who are those people? And it doesn't always have to be people. I get a ton of wisdom guides from books and audio resources and programs, and they're my wisdom keepers too. So they can help provide insight along the way. Angels, we're so blessed to have angels in our life who are here to protect and guide and love us, our guardian angels. And I'm constantly in connection with my angels to help protect me and guide me and remind me, because there'll be times where I'm just on the go and I'll just shoot up a little post-it note prayer up to my angels and say, please help remind me about this. And next thing you know, boom, like I've completely forgot about it, and right at the right time, at the right moment, a little thought will pop in my head and I was like, thank you, angels. So that's another heavenly resource that we have as messengers to us. And then T standing for the Trinity of Father, Son, Holy Spirit. And, you know, having a relationship with God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit has just really given what a friend of mine, Mona Saunders, had said, is that this idea of this triune power coming through when you have that, you know, a deep connection on many sides. And so there's, you know, a lot we could go in depth there, but I just think especially that. And one thing that I do before every video that I've done is I've just prayed to the Holy Spirit, come Holy Spirit, to help guide and direct me as I'm doing these. So there's just so much that you can do in prayer. And then your 3 is key, is just to study it more in depth. You know, what resources and angles and verses or prayer warriors out there are really powerful. And there is the movie, The Prayer, I keep thinking of The Prayer Closet, Fervent? I'll have to kind of get back to that. But that was the idea about the power of prayer and having your own little prayer closet that you can put that. So I actually do and have some resources in mine around the power of prayer and prayers that I have. So that's an idea of, you know, what matters most to you. Not only do you need to pray it, but at times, if it's so important to you, circle it with all of your heart, all of your mind, all of your soul, and all of your strengths. And then your prayers will be answered. It might not be the way you think, but God will always hear your prayers and answer them in whatever way. And don't forget that your dream of this #1 goal matters. And just don't discount that, and don't be afraid to pray for it. From my heart to yours, be love.